Hey, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another sort of video about Zomedica. Today, I've been like sort of under the weather, sort of slept for multiple hours during the trading day. Just, had to take a nap because I was having a massive headache and sort of, caught up on work a bit later. But let's be honest here, there was some big news here for Zomedica, not just sort of with what's going on with the stock, but really what's happening with the price action. And as you can see here in the thumbnail, we've finally hit that buy zone that I've been talking about for the last probably 3 to 6 months. So what exactly does that mean? Well, we're going to cover that in this video. Remember, this is not financial advice. And if you haven't done it already, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Help us on the road to 5,000 subs. So Zomedica, as sort of a quick summary, right? It's a pet healthcare company. It's been struggling kind of just a tiny bit. A lot of people invested in it around $2, $3 as they raised money to launch Truforma. They've really built out their business since then with Truforma, PulseVet, VetGuardian, and a bunch of other products. You probably remember I had a live stream, I think last week, where we covered their earnings. And their earnings, while as I sort of told everyone, they market them very well, these aren't good earnings. These are not things that you should look forward to. In fact, I believe they're burning between $5 to $6 million of cash a quarter, which will come out to like $20 to $24 million a year, right? They don't have enough of a runway to continue doing this. While it's all nice and fancy to talk about how it's record-setting quarters, the reality is they're not hitting expectations, and there's a bit of sort of complacency around a lot of the investors who are getting tired and a bit bored of sitting here waiting for this stock to do something. Now, their impatience is always going to be our opportunity. And just like I tell everyone in my videos, I am not sort of around to sort of buy into the hype when things are going great. And I'm not here to buy into the dysphoria when things are going bad. At the end of the day, it really depends on each individual on where they believe their risk tolerance is. And as you know, I really don't believe in having a big portion of my portfolio in speculative companies. That was a mistake I made early on, but I really rotated a long while ago to having blue chips as a fundamental basis of my portfolio, and then having things like Zomedica, Nano Dimensions, Mara or Marathon Digital Holdings, and other small, tiny companies making up the other 20%. Remember, you want 80% of your portfolio to sort of make it free for you to play around with these speculative companies. The idea is these like blue chips will only gain 15, 20, 30% potentially at the high end, with some exceptions, of course. And then these speculative companies can go like 50, 100x potential. And that's sort of like the idea here is like, these are all startups. So if you think of like Dragon's Den, you wouldn't put your life savings into somebody else's startup. And just like that, you have to be smart about how you invest. That being said, I have been very clear what my strategy is with Zomedica. So as you know, I have 10,000 shares at an average of 19 cents that I've been holding for the long term. Now, I have another 3,000 swing shares. I had liquidated a bunch of swing shares when we arrived in the sell zone back in July, right? So July 12th, we had sort of hit that sort of zone. I liquidated a bunch of shares and was kind of hoping for a much higher increase around 28 or 30 cents to get rid of the other 3,000 shares. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But you can see over here that we've really been trading very range bound, right? Like very much between this 23 and 19 cent mark, probably for like half the year, with the exception of that July pump. And when you look at my comments, go and look at the comment section of my previous videos. People have commented saying, why are you waiting? This isn't going to happen. You should just buy Zomedica stock and blah, 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 whatever. If you're bullish, you make videos. Why aren't you buying stock? And I always tell them, I'm looking for opportunities. I'm not in a rush to use my capital. I already have 10,000 shares of Zomedica long-term, 3,000 swing shares. And for me to buy more swing shares, I want a better deal than just buying it at the market rate. And today we got that potential. So this morning, Zomedica had a big red knife, a red candlestick, and it dropped below 18 cents for a second. I wasn't able to catch it all the way down there, but I caught it like near the bottom end of this, around like 18.1 cents. And I picked up 5,000 shares, right? So my plan here, remember, you don't have to duplicate what I'm doing. My plan here with Zomedica is once we hit 21 cents here, I'm just going to sort of ditch those shares because, or 21 to 23 cents. I haven't really decided what that sort of liquidation point is, but I believe in sort of making money while I'm waiting for this stock to sort of pan out in the long term. My next buy zone, by the way, is all the way below here at 15.8 cents. So I will not be buying any more shares of Zomedica until we drop down this far. The reality is, like, there's a potential that we do, which is why I don't want to sort of just be out of dry powder early on. I don't want to end up like some people who have tons of huge positions. And also my biggest fear is when you look at Zomedica's sort of cash flow, and let's just take a look over here, they are sitting here with $142 million worth of cash. No sort of flag that they need to dilute just yet, but just remember, these things happen. Let's also not forget what we've seen with stocks like BNGO, stocks like Sundial Growers. These are other stocks that were really big in the sort of meme rallies of 2020 and 2021. They've done reverse stock splits because their stocks have dropped so much. I'm not saying Zomedica will, and they have a long period of time in case that happens. But remember, these things can happen. All these things will lead to more drawdowns. Reverse stock splits always lead to more drawdowns. And you know what? Let me just bring up BNGO stock because I called it out when they reverse split to 465 just a week ago. I made a video on the channel saying the worst is yet to come for BNGO. You can check that video out on the channel. Like, remember, I don't have a crystal ball. I just look at patterns and trends. And every time a stock does a reverse stock split, it signals to investors that things are going bad. You wouldn't do a reverse stock split if things are doing fantastic, right? So what happened is the company has just been selling off. So you can see here, where are we? This was when they did the reverse stock split around here, and they've lost another 40% in their value since then. This is why we want to avoid a reverse stock split at any cost. I know why they do the reverse stock split. It allows them to stay listed on a specific exchange. For Zomedica, they just have to keep above the 20-cent mark or close above 20 cents at least once in 30 business days. And then failing that, they have 6 months, I think for like 10 consecutive days, closing over 20 cents. And then they get another 6-month extension. So we're about a year out, sort of worst case scenario for anything like this happening. But I just want to make sure you're sort of aware. And like I said, for those of you who are looking at this now and saying, hey, I'm not buying Zomedica because I'm afraid it's going to keep going down. Hey, fair on you. But most of the time, what I will say is those are typically the same people who are buying when Zomedica is doing really well or on the sort of top end of that like pumps that they typically do every 3 to 6 months. And there's always the one thing, why are you selling your swing shares? I sell my swing shares because I know these opportunities will come up. And I just keep rinsing and repeating. So Zomedica doesn't have call options for me to sell. So I can't sell call options on these stocks. So what do I do instead? Well, I will use this opportunity of trading ranges to continue paying myself. All the while sitting with a planned bag of 10,000 shares. Hopefully we can revisit $2 a share again. That'd be pretty sweet. I would love that. I would sort of cash out probably 90% of those long shares then. But the reality is I can be patient this way. And that's why, like you'll see here, I've drawn this out. Go and check past videos. This buy and sell zone has been there for ages. Ever since I started doing more frequent Zomedica videos, I put this in here. It's not made up. Go check it out. and like I'm gonna stick to it. So remember, 15.8 cents is my next buy zone because I've already purchased some Zom. By the way, I would love to hear from you. What do you think about Zomedica? What do you think about their earnings? Have you bought any more shares in this sort of drawdown? How are you planning it out? My favorite thing to read is there are people in our free public Discord who have talked about how they've adopted that approach and now they're printing money. And I love to sort of see it because remember, this is not just something that I'm saying I'm doing to sort of flex on people. I'm saying this because I want to help you, give you another perspective. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's sort of your call. If you want to sort of get into that discussion, we have a free public Discord where we talk about the stock market and cryptocurrency, sometimes trading. Check it out, discord.thebrowngen.com. And do me a favor, if you found value in this video, support the channel, get us to 5K subs, like, subscribe, and share the video. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.